Hello and welcome to Barry's Economics. It is exactly 3 months to the day that I started this channel, and this is a video that I'm posting outside of my usual video schedule to briefly talk about the last 3 months, but mostly talk about the next 3 months and to get your feedback and thoughts and perspective on the plan. So 3 months in, and it still feels, to be fair, it still feels weird talking to a camera in my comedy club, talking about these ideas. I'm getting over it slowly, and thank you for the support. I do say thank you way too much, I'm aware of that. By the way, just so you know, a lot of those takeaways to camera that people say on the comments, like I like it or I find it a bit cheesy, to be honest, they're very practical because I waffle a lot. So a lot of them, like I go off-piste. Like it's kind of my job. That's why I'm a good comedian and a good MC. I'm very good at being off-piste, but keeping to a script, oh, it's hard. I said it's hard. As I said in this video, there's not that many people making videos like this. And the next 3 months, I want to see whether I can support more people talking around this stuff in this space. Now, I'm aware Gary's away for 3 months, and there genuinely aren't that many people doing stuff like this. So I was thinking, what can I do to support? Firstly, I'm going to make more videos. I'll make a Sunday release, which as I'm doing, these are kind of longer essays about stuff. This week's was the Inequality feedback loop. And I'll keep that to Sunday, but I think I'm going to try to do 2 videos a week during the week, which are different style videos. And I'd love, at the end of this video, I'm going to ask you your feedback on different ideas around that. And the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bring more comedians and more creatives into the space, because I think there are loads of people that have ideas around this, but not the space financially or kind of in their life to be able to do it. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to start a Patreon. I'm going to start a Buy Me a Coffee account and a Patreon account, which is going to, all of that money is going to go, what anyone pledges, and I'll go more into it in the Patreon tiers stuff, but it's going to go to comedians, to funding this channel and funding comedians making stuff, because I really do think there's a lot of wasted talent that would and does want to talk about this. I think it's a huge opportunity, but there's no money in this. So finding a way to make money and pass that on to people so that they can not work at the bakery one day a week and instead be making something around inequality is just about survival, them paying rent. That's right. I still need the side tape. But let me talk to you quickly about ideas and see what you think. I've got a lot of comments about doing more bias breakdowns. So the Rest is Politics type of breakdown of other people either interviewing Gary or talking about this stuff. I'm thinking about doing more videos which are community, which is behind the scenes, like how I build a monologue, to share that skill set. Things about like comedy and economics, because actually part of the reasons why I went bankrupt and was homeless was because of how the comedy industry genuinely bankrupts people, and to talk about that in detail, and I'm not alone in that. Things like why jokes or why comedy reveals truths. I think those are kind of crossover between comedy and economics that people have asked for. Is that's one person has asked for. Would you like more interviews? I've got, like recently last week I was interviewing James Acaster, and there are people that would have things to say on these issues. Is that something that you find useful? And part of, and also what would you like me to talk about? Feel free to put that into the comments of like, you know, like different topics that I've got coming up about trickle-down economics, like the lie of trickle-down economics and why it's been debunked. Why we cheer our own exploitation. That's a title that's coming out. Election promises versus election reality. I kind of will look at that, the biases there. But those kind of topics, if there's anything that you think you'd like me to talk more about, I'd love to hear that. Especially over the next 3 months where I will be making more stuff deliberately. I'm going to cane it for the next 3 months as best I can. Yeah, so that's the plan. That's the plan. And it's only possible because of all the support on here and the support of Gary, which I'm hugely humbled by, because this type of channel could easily be seen as like a spoof, which is what some comments do think it's a spoof, but it's not. If it was a spoof, I'd shave my head. Oh, and I do read all the comments. Genuinely, I read all the comments. Like, for example, this is a cheese plant. I didn't know that was a cheese plant, but I was reading these comments that just said, "Look after your cheese plant." I was like, is this some kind of Gen Alpha slur? Like, what look after my cheese plant? I mean, it does sound like an insult. You absolute cheese plant. But yeah, no. Apparently, people are worried about this cheese plant, so I'm going to repot it. That's what I've been told to do. So I'm going to repot the cheese plant. So watch that space. I'd say watch this space, watch that space. But yeah, I do listen to and do read all the comments. Listen to the comments. No, I read them. And yeah, thank you for being part of this and the support. And I'm going to try my best to genuinely run with the ball that you've thrown for me. And I'm working it out as I go. I genuinely appreciate the support, and I'm going to try and also magnify the message and multiply the message through the advantages that I have, having survived what I've survived, and having the resource of this comedy club and access to a load of different comedians and creatives. And we'll see how that goes. I might do an appraisal of that in, I don't know, 3 months' time and see how it went. But that's the plan. If you have anything else that you'd like to see me do, you know, like, I don't know, street interviews with people, I have thought about doing that. I've got friends, comedian friends that do that. Sarah Keyworth does it, Eleanor Conway does it. And I did think about going out and just interviewing drunk people about economics, but I was like, that would be funny, but would there be a point? Anyway, if there's something you'd like to see, other than these plants being looked after, let me know. Thank you for watching, and thanks for being part of this. And I'm going to do my best to live up to your support.